Hi everyone, I'm Mary Lou. Welcome back. I know that it's been several weeks since I've posted it, and I just kind of wanted to take a minute and give you a little bit of backstory and explain and tell you what's going on with my channel. And so back in August, we had actually had a little bit of a difficult summer in a lot of ways. And then at the end of August, I was going to go visit my mom because it's always good for me to go and talk with her. But then I couldn't go because our whole family got COVID, and we've been able to avoid it for 2.5 years. And so we thought we maybe had some natural immunity or something, but we didn't. And then we're kind of coming into doctor season with my daughter, Anne, who has Down syndrome, and we actually see a lot of doctors. And so I've been involved in a lot of paperwork and getting things done and seeing doctors. And so it's just been a little bit of a difficult end of summer and beginning of fall. And fall is my favorite time of year. So I've especially been feeling a little bit sad, I guess, that I haven't been able to be doing some fall crafts. And so I also have been really thinking about my channel. I want it to be something that is beneficial, and I've been trying to evaluate what I have to offer. And I actually, even for a time, contemplated not posting anymore, but then I got some really kind comments from so many of you that you have enjoyed my videos and they make you laugh or they make you smile. And I realized that maybe if that's all I have, then I have something to offer. A lot of people are going through some real difficulties and a lot of struggles, hard times. I was listening to one of my favorite YouTubers, the Posh Paper Lady. I really recommend her channel, and she made me think about what I'm doing and that we all have something to offer. And even though times get difficult, that's okay. That sometimes crafting and sharing and looking for beauty and creating beauty and giving and sending help us through hard times. And so today I want to go ahead and show you one of my favorite things that I saw on her channel. So it's the Posh Paper Lady, and in my comments below I'll put a link to her channel because I think she's wonderful. So I want to recreate a craft that she did 3 years ago and bring in that wonderful fall feeling and just kind of get back to crafting. And we'll see how things go with doctors and all of those things, but I'm going to give you the best that I've got. And so if you haven't subscribed, I hope you will. And that if you're facing some hard times, you'll take some time to create some beauty, to share, to give, to maybe send a little happy mail to someone and do something that helps you settle and create, because that's good for our spirits. I'm really excited to show you what I've got lined up here for you. I've got several projects here, as well as some ideas and some products that I really like. And so we have several dollar store items and some other things. And so let's get started. So we're starting out our projects, and we are using some things to make some skinny notebooks. And these can be used for so many different things, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. So I'm using some paper that I have cut down to a very particular size, and stay tuned because the other two projects are going to use things from the dollar store. And then I've got a few things that I might possibly use. I've got some cutting dies from the dollar store and some that I got. And anything that I have here, I will go ahead and link in the description below. I've got some scrap pieces of chipboard. I just saved these from old notebooks that I finished up. And So I save them, but I will also link a source for chipboard below. And in my next one, I'll show you how I cut this, because you need either a really heavy duty paper cutter or you need to be able to cut it very carefully, and I'll show you that. I'm also today trying out two different types of two-sided adhesive, because I've been finding out that this just makes everything so much easier. And so I'm trying out the Altenew adhesive. It looks like this, and I love it. And then I'm also trying out an adhesive. Let me show you the packaging. So this is what the Altenew adhesive comes in. Right now it's right around $16 for a pack of 10. And then there's also this double tack mounting film that you can get at most office supply stores and Walmart. And I don't remember the cost of that, but it just comes white on both sides. And so those are two products I've been trying out and that I really love. I'm also using some Halloween paper that I made. Now, I kind of wanted to go with pastel Halloween this year. I didn't want to do the deep, dark orange and green and purple. I wanted to do more of a pastel look. And I just made some Word documents, and I was able to make all these fun Halloween papers, sized it the way I wanted, and then I just kept cutting and pasting. If you would like me to do a video about exactly how to do that, comment below in the comments below, and I will create a video about how to do that. There's just so many fun things. And then here's a fun storage idea. So I take these project sleeves that I use for a lot of other paper things, and I just keep those in here. And I am doing a packet that is all Halloween. And because I just actually did not have much Halloween scrapbook paper, I went ahead and made my own and made it the colors I wanted. So that's the paper we're using for this project. And you'll see these papers used throughout all three of the projects. And so I have my paper already cut and ready, and I may use some stickers from the dollar store, but we'll just go ahead, and if I pull in other things as I'm showing you this, I'll just list all of the things below that I am using. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing that I did is create my little notebook. And this one I have already finished. And you see it's, the pages are all attached at the top. And I went ahead and just cut paper the size I thought would be useful. This particular one is 3 by about 6, and then I cut my chipboard to that same size. Now I have already gone ahead and put some adhesive on this. I had some scraps of the double tack, so I just pieced those together, and then I used just some double-sided tape to finish off that spot. So what I need to do is create a back for my little notebook, because this is floppy and you don't want it floppy, you want it to be secure. And so I'm just going to go ahead and tape that down. Now, I'm also seeing that I made this just a little bit too long, so I'm going to use this opportunity to show you how I cut chipboard, because my paper cutters are not strong enough to go through this chipboard. So I just get a good ruler that's got a good strong edge, and I have my Cricut, it's an X-Acto knife. I'm not sure exactly what they call this tool, but I keep my ruler there and hold it securely. And I just wanted to point out that I don't push really hard on my X-Acto knife. I just go lightly down and start to create a groove, because I found if I'm pushing really hard, it gets so it's just not working right. And I have this on a self-healing mat. And then once I have the groove in place, I can even move my ruler and just keep going and going a little deeper each time, and get to the point where I can even bend it, and I can come to the other side and work on that side if I need to. But you'll see you can end up with a really nice even cut without a lot of force. And you saw that didn't take me very long. And so that is ready to go and will fit the back of that notepad perfectly. Now I want to show you how I made this notepad. And so I just have an example here. These are pieces that were left over from cutting this one, and even a tiny notebook like this is helpful to have. These are the Dollar Tree clips, and they're great for some things, but they don't hold as securely as these clips. So I prefer these, and I put these on the sides. And then I have one that I use for these kind of notebooks all the time that's going to go across the top like that. And it holds very firmly. And then I have Pad Book Compound. Now you can use a lot of different types of glue, but not all glues will work. And this is a glue that is actually designed to make notepads like this. Get a brush, an old one. This is one that is just kind of falling apart. It's one that I'm actually not worried about keeping nice. And I get my papers well lined up, and then I just brush that glue right across the top so that it just kind of holds everything together. And then, and I don't worry too much if it comes over the edges. And then what I do is take that clip and just clip that down and let that dry. It takes, a half hour or so, and I do 3 coats of that so that I have a nice, strong coating of that glue. And so that's how you do those. Now, I have already done that. And so you see, we've got a nice, it's really well glued down. And sometimes it'll leave tracks there. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to worry about the back because that's getting stuck down and will be unseen. But that front page, because I think it looks a little messy, I am just going to pull that off. And I'll use that to take some notes or something, but I don't want that on my pad. Okay, so this is the backing for the notebook. And so I'm just going to pull up all those little bits of the backing. Then I'm going to bring in my notepad. I'm going to stand it so I can see it, and I'm going to very carefully line that up so it sticks just right onto that cardstock or that chipboard backing. And now I have a nice sturdy notepad that I can write on. Now we are going to make this decorative though, and we're going to make this a fun Halloween thing. When you cut your paper for these, be very conscious of orientation. So this is going to be the outside of my cover. And then this is going to be the inside. I cut this first and then I went, oh man, I oriented that wrong. And so I didn't want it that way. So that's going to go in my Halloween scraps. And I'm going to, because I want it oriented up and down just like that. And so we are going to get our double stick tape onto this. So this is how that goes. Now I can use a tape runner. I could use glue, but I love how well these double stick adhesives just hold everything down and keep it very flat and nice. And so I'm going to take off that, I've got to flip it. So I'm going to take off this backing. So you see it just slides right off. I already adhered it to one side of this, and now I'm just adhering it to the other. And so then I'm going to come in and lay this in the middle of all of this. Okay. And I'm going to really push it down. I'm going to get my spatula out here. And then I want to just come in with my bone folder and just create a little bit of a score line all the way around that. So then I can come and just fold these sides up and get this ready to stick down. Now, I don't want bulky corners, so I'm just going to come in and trim those corners out. I can also lay these into that corner if I need to, and that can create a cover up. If I cut these too small, I can just use that to cover them up. But I'm not going to worry about that, and then I'm going to just fold that over all the way, push it down. I'm going to kind of burnish it along the edge. Fold these over. There we go. And then I'll do the ends here. All right, good. Now I'm going to just come through with my scraper and just make sure everything is down and adhered and looking nice. Okay, so that's done. Now I'm going to come in with this inside piece, and it's going to fit right in there. And so I'm going to take off that adhesive top. And these pieces that we're pulling off, you can keep those and use them as backing for stickers that you may make. And now I'm just going to carefully line that up and burnish that down. There, and then we just have this really pretty outside and inside, and then that's going to go right on that front cover. Now I have this extra piece, and I've done it double thick, so I've already glued two pieces together, and this is a scrap piece because you can see it's not lined up well. But I am going to use that to create the top part of my book and clip it so that it'll hold how I want it. And then I'm just bringing my glue back over here, and I'm going to come lay that in the middle. Let's make sure my ghost is pointing up. So I'm gonna do it like this a little bit. I can just fold that over. When my glue's getting low, here's an idea that I use. I keep a jar with damp wipes in there, and then I can turn my glue over and it'll keep the glue running down to the top of the jar. I'm just going to, there we go. I'll kind of burnish that down. Now, I'm going to let that dry, and I will probably come back through and do a little bit of extra gluing as we need it, just to make sure that that is completely secure into the corners. And there we go. Now we need to do a little bit of decorating on that. I don't have a pumpkin die set, so I decided to make my own. So I used just some stitched circle dies that I have, and I want a little bit of bulk to that. So I'm just gonna glue, I cut out 3 circles with my die set, my die cutter machine, and I'm just gonna glue those together. And one of them, I went ahead and trimmed in a little bit of a pumpkin shape. So all you have to do to turn a circle into a pumpkin is go in and out, and that's where the stem goes, and then just make it wavy across the bottom, and voila, you have a pumpkin shape. Now that I've got my pumpkin shape, I'm going to come through with my light brown pen, and I'm going to mimic that little stitch pattern that this has, and I'm just going to follow the shape of the pumpkin, and I'm just going to draw some little lines down to make this look like a little bit of a country sort of rustic looking pumpkin. There we go. And then let's see if you can see that. So you have a little pumpkin, and that's going to go on the front. And then I do have a leaf die, and so I cut out I cut out some leaves here, and I'm just going to, I'm not going to double those up, but I'm just going to figure out if I want 1 or 2 leaves or how I might want to do that. And I think I'll do it just like that. Now, what I'd like to do to get adhesive on those is I want to use my Xyron sticker maker. I love using this. It's one of my favorite tools. And when you've got tiny things like this, it's just a breeze to get adhesive on those. So you just stick them in the end here. And this is, I think this is a 2-inch Xyron. And you just stick things in there, pull them out. Oops, I didn't get that one in far enough. And then you tear them off. Now, before I take them off of this sheet, I go ahead, and normally you wouldn't leave that much of a gap. I goofed there. You just kind of burnish that down. And then before you take them off as stickers, peel off this top, and it takes away all the extra stickiness that was on this paper. And then you have stickers. So you can just take those right off. And they've got all that wonderful adhesive on them. So easy. So I'm just going to kind of guess where to put these. I think I'll do it like that. And then I'm going to come in with my pumpkin in the middle of my notebook. And I really love how that looks. So I'm just going to do some real thin little lines. And then I'm going to just put some of that glitter. It's kind of like a Cinderella pumpkin with a little bit of glitter on there. There we go. And then I'm going to tap that off. And then we just have a pumpkin that looks like it's got just a little bit of shine for Halloween. The orange gingham on the outside, and it's got the pretty pumpkins on the inside, and it's just a handy dandy little notepad. Now, what would you use this for? This, of course, can be decorated for any holiday, any gender, really any time of year. And it's something that you could sell in a craft bazaar. You could keep it. You could give it away as a gift. If you're making something that size, that actually fits money. If you wanted to give someone a gift with a little bit of money in there, but that's just a nice little Halloween skinny notebook. Okay, for this next skinny notebook, we are going to use this notepad from the Dollar Tree. And this is a 4x6 notepad. And you can actually get 4 skinny notebooks out of this. We're going to use our Altenew 2-sided adhesive. And I'm going to use some of these metal embellishments that my cousin gave me, and they've been a lot of fun, and you can get them in, here's some gears, here's just all kinds of shapes. But I found this really great, where can I put it, little skull and crossbones, and so I thought I would use that for Halloween. And this is a narrower notepad than the one we just did. And so what we're going to do, we're going to actually open this up and try to gauge the middle, and we're going to actually take that notebook apart. Okay, so we can open it that way, and then we'll cut right down through the middle. And then what we're going to do, because we're doing skinny notebooks, we're going to go ahead and cut this in half. Now, I'm going to go ahead and use this back part for my skinny notebook to show you. But this front part then doesn't have a thick backing. So if you're doing that, then you'll need to bring in a piece of chipboard and create the backing just like I did on that on our first notebook on this one. This is the way to go if you don't have any of the pad book compound, or you don't want to wait the time it takes to create that. This is so fast and so easy, and actually may be my new preferred way to do this. And then just like I did with the chipboard, slipped a little, I'm going to just start with the cutting. And I don't know if I mentioned that this mat is a self-healing mat. There. So I'm just going to keep going down through, and you'll be going kind of page by page. It goes pretty quickly, and just cut through that. Okay, so then you'll end up with 2 of these that you can use for a skinny notebook. So we'll just work on this one. Okay, so we're going to proceed pretty much like we did with the last one. So this time we're going to do a different color of paper on the outside. And I think it's easier to just cut it on a paper cutter. And then let's get the one side peeled off, and then you can tell which side is holding the sticky stuff. And then you can bring this in and just line that up and get that pushed down. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my chipboard and just make sure we've got a good coverage. Good. And then I can take off the other side of the adhesive paper. And we'll go ahead and lay this down, just like we did before. I'm going to flip that, finish that down. And now I'm going to come in with my bone folder and just get a little bit of a score on those edges. And I can cut off my corners, those in. I love this pink pumpkin paper that I created from some Google images. I just think it is so fun. And I kind of like that idea of mixing up the Halloween colors a little bit with a pink pastel pumpkin. I just think that's super cute. And now I'm going to do the same thing with this other piece. One reason I really like using the double-sided backing with that inner piece is because it really holds it down. And if I have a choice, I would much rather have that double-sided backing on this piece because it gives it a little bit of substance and really holds it down and keeps all of the edges down. There we go. And there's no real top or bottom. Okay, and then we're gonna work that down. So I just really like that. I love the mint green with the pumpkins. There we go. Now, here is our piece that's going over the top. And remember, I folded, I want that to be a little thicker, so I have folded that over and gotten that ready. I have a piece of adhesive that is just half that size, and I'm gonna slip it in there. Okay. And then I'm going to just fold that over. And that just makes a thicker, kind of sturdier bit to go right across the top. So this time I'm going to try my tape runner, and we're just going to basically cover that whole piece with tape. And I'm really going to get that adhesive on there, make sure it's all covered. And then I'm going to come in and just kind of look it over, eyeball it into place. And then we fold up and over and down, and then come back and adhere that down and go across the top. There. And there we have our nice little notebook that opens easily. This little notebook, this would be great for a to-do list. This would be great for family game night, for scorekeeping. This would be just good for a fun gift, a teacher gift. And then I'm going to finish this off with just simply my skull and crossbones. I'm just going to get some glue on there. And this is a type of glue that dries clear and matte. And there we go. So there's our second little skinny notebook. Okay, so here's our last project of the day. I found these fun Halloween stickers on a clearance last year. And so I thought they're not stickers, those are buttons. And then I've got some black gingham checked ribbon. I've got my papers for my next notebook that we're going to make, but this time I am using these notebooks, and I love these, from the Dollar Tree. So such an easy way to go ahead and get these kinds of little notebooks made, and you can make so many for so many people with the products that you can get at the Dollar Tree. And I like these because they're thinner and much easier to cut through. So you see they come as one big pad, but each part has its own backing. So I'm just going to take it apart where that backing is, and I'll set that aside. But with that one pack from the Dollar Tree, you could get 6 skinny notebooks, because there are actually 3 different notepads in there. So you could end up with 6 skinny notebooks, but we're just doing the one today. And I won't show this part on camera. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cut in half, and I'll be right back with you. That one was actually much easier to cut through than the thicker pad. And I really like that. This has fewer pages. I just think that's nicer. So between the two, I think I'd recommend that one. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish this one, and stay tuned, because I'm going to show you a different idea for finishing these off and using what's called a belly band. And so let's go ahead and get this one done. So the papers I'm using for this one is this fun witch's hat and pumpkins, and this orange one that I made using images from Google Images. And this down. Okay. I really like that paper. I don't know if you can see that, but I really, really like that homemade paper. I think it's so fun. Okay, and then this one is going to go right in there. But I love the orange on this side with the pink and the black on this side. I think that's super cute. Okay, so let's bring in our notepad that's already got the back on it. Here comes our inside piece. And you want it particularly along the sides and the corner. So I'm just going to give those sides one extra little bit. And then come back through and lining up my top. Down the back, and let's burnish that down, and let's see how that is. Opens up, very nice, very nice. Let me get that down here. Okay, yes, that's better. Very good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is create just a belly band, and I'm going to use this black ribbon that I have, and I'm just going to cut off a piece that I can work with. And let's see which of my buttons is going to look best with this here. Okay, so I'm just gonna do my belly band just over the top, like, oh, I love the pumpkin. The skeleton is fun, but I think it gets lost in the ribbon. Oh, I do like the ghost. Here's a witch's hat, spider web, bat, skeleton. You know, I really like the pumpkin. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put the ribbon through the button. Oops, I put it on upside down. So easy fix. Flip the ribbon. Okay. And then I am going to hold that up and push the other side of the ribbon through the button hole and through that shank that's in the back. It actually took me a bit to get it through, so these reverse pliers are what really worked well. And then you pull your two sides, and we're just going to straighten out our ribbon a little bit here and just pull it tight. And then that creates this band that goes around your book. And then I can go ahead and just tie that, pulling it tight. And I'm going to tie it so that there's a ribbon just at the top of the pumpkin. You can tie it so it's at the bottom, however you would like. There. Okay. And then we'll just trim that off. So when you want to use the notebook, you can just slide that belly band off down the bottom and slide it back on, or you just can untie it and then tie it back on. But that is our little skinny notebook with a belly band. These notebooks are great for teacher gifts. They're great for game playing. They're great for to-do lists, menu planning. There's just so many things you can do with that. And so I hope you'll give our little skinny notebooks a try, that you will just maybe try making your own notebook, or use your Dollar Tree. Use the ones you can get from Dollar Tree. That, honestly, between the two, that's the way I prefer it. But they're just so easy to make. Any season, any person, any reason, these would be great to use for any number of things. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I hope you will. And I'm hoping to make my channel even more helpful, more of a benefit to everyone. And so I hope you'll subscribe. And I've got some fun plans coming up. And so we'll see you next time.